streaming room, Ben. You're on your own, mate. I'm running out and I'm calling someone to take care of it.
I'm going to talk a little bit about this game. So Scarlett is opting for gas pool here. It's definitely a quick gas. It's definitely a one-pace opening, and Namshar going for the far more standard. Wait, was that a pool before gas? It was a pool before gas, so not quite super standard by Namshar. I mean, this is already a bit weird. Obviously, I'm distracted by the bug and the talk about it, but yeah, I saw you with a fly, and you were like, hold on, gotta get the fly squatted quickly, and like talking about fighting the fly. I just thought it was really funny.
When did that happen?
A few days ago.
Oh, when I was streaming.
Yeah, I'm an avid rotty watcher.
Yeah, man, I'm not good with bugs, but I do like the Zerg bugs. I can live with those. What do you make of Namshar's pool positioning, Benny?
It reminds me of those pools that the Clash Zergs from a long time ago used to go for, where it was very, very forward, maybe to stop a potential spine crawler positioning. That's the only thing I can think of, and maybe a little bit of extra scouting in the main base, say if Lings do run up that ramp and go for a little bit of a hiding spot there. Oh, Scarlett, the Evo chamber on the way already.
Yep. I wonder if that's going to be for +1 melee or not. Scarlett is still mining gas. I honestly expect Scarlett to have fun this best of 5. I really think that she's full of confidence, and rightfully so. The last few times we watched her play, she looked really good. That is a layer and a half if I've ever seen one. Namshar going for a 2-minute and 30-second layer. Scarlett is going for carapace, so no melee. This is something that you definitely love to scout if you're on Scarlett's team.
Definitely. I think, as far as I know, this lines up pretty decent for Scarlett, though. Like, having the carapace means that you can do any sort of hatch timing and be very, very aggressive. The carapace obviously benefiting all your units, but that's a very, very quick Ling speed here for Scarlett and Namshar. Now he knows he's up against something a little bit wet and wild here for sure.
He is going to fire up +1 missile attacks. Roach Warren is halfway done. Of course, when you see a quick layer, you always think like, is it going to be Muras? But it doesn't always have to be Muras. There are plenty of very strong Roach +1 timings with very quick Roach speed that you can hit to. And we know obviously that Namshar has not invested in Zergling speed, so he saves that 100 gas there. And that's just going to give him even more Roaches to work with.
This is kind of like the CVZ that Reyna was talking about, right? Like that wall off at the front, talking about coin flips and such. And Scarlett, she's got no way of really scouting what's going on. She does obviously get to see that the Roach Warren is moving around and showing an upgrade. Oh, I thought she actually could have went for that.
Yeah, I want to continue chasing. Not exactly sure why. Scarlett checking the front one more time to see if that Roach Warren is still wiggling, to see if that Evo chamber is still researching something. And Namshar is making a lot of Roaches from 33 drones. This actually reminds... I wonder if he's going to drop creep with his overlords in the center of the map as well, to create a little bit of a creep highway. Because this is not just a safety Roach anymore. And this then reminds me of the build that Lambo got Serral with a long time ago on Dreamcatcher. I know afterwards Loco did it for a long time. This is bad news bear for Namshar though, losing 2 queens like that. If you're gearing up for a very powerful attack, man, you don't want to be losing your queens like that.
No, you don't want to be revealing it when it's not even outside your base yet. But now Scarlett knows exactly what the case is. And Namshar, yeah, this already hasn't gone his way at all. And just for the cost of a few Lings, Scarlett's already roaching up. And I mean, she does have to respect this still. I mean, that's a lot of money going into that lair that's never going to really come online here. Oh, it's going to be a tough hole, but let's see what she can do.
Yep, I think it's a very doable hold, though. I'd love to see Scarlett be active now with her Lings in the center of the map. Pick off a stray Roach here and there. Nice job by Namshar. Picking up that first Roach immediately kills the Spine Crawler too. There's Scarlett indeed picking off a couple of Roaches that were trailing behind the rest of the pack. Namshar is going to get on top of this hatchery. Wants to kill it. Is also going to get surrounded though by the Zerglings. The hatchery is not dead yet. I think Namshar was afraid if he would kill it, he would also be forced to fight the Broodlings. So he wants to kill it a little bit later. But now my big question is, will he kill it at all, Ben?
I'm not even sure. He has to go through that wall of Zerg units. I love the way that he's kind of pouncing on this a little bit, but this is super all in from Namshar. And Scarlett, she's holding on. She's got 42 drones. I think she made that look very easy, honestly, and it wasn't at all.
Very well done indeed. I mean, it did really help that she was able to pick off all those queens before and just get a heads up that this build is indeed happening. She was probably already thinking about it, but yeah, it's always nice to confirm these things. Now Scarlett is about to get a pretty big upgrade advantage. The previous fight, it was +1 missile attacks against Carapace. Now Scarlett is going to have missile attacks and Carapace. And things will just start looking better and better for our Canadian Zerg representing the Shopify Rebellion. Her own road speed is about to finish up. Namshar is still just on 2 bases. And I think it's safe to say, Ben, that it's now or never for Namshar. And it's starting to look like never.
I mean, those roaches get a little bit of damage done, but 3 roaches, 5 drones, it's not too bad. But he needed a hell of a lot more considering everything that's stacked against him. Upgrades, the bases, just everything isn't going well for Namshar, and starts up a +2. That's ambitious at best.
Yep. Tries to start +2, made a couple drones, tries to turn this into a macro game, but Scarlett obviously wasn't born last night. C knows that if C defends with a drone advantage, C is going to have a much bigger army in the near future, and I have a hard time believing that Scarlett is going to let Namshar get away with that base. It's a numbers game, and the numbers heavily favor Scarlett at this point. Don't forget that she still has link speed too, so she can just reinforce with a lot of links. And I think game 1 is pretty much all over, as there is nothing that Namshar can do to stop the forces of Scarlett moving into his natural. Scarlett takes a pretty convincing 1-0 lead. But I wonder how that would have gone if Namshar doesn't lose his queens, then maybe sends the queens to the other side of the map. Because I feel if you do the 33 drone roach attack, that is something that has happened in the past, so you have that extra transfuse. Because this is not meant to be a pressure. This really is meant to be an all-in when you're making that many units of 33 drones.
Yeah, it just didn't go Namshar's way, did it? Like, I like that Scarlett went for a bit of a weird build. Like, it was the gas pool and then getting the very quick speed, getting the Evo chamber quickly as well. She just didn't look in any trouble whatsoever. And I'd imagine that build's fairly safe against a lot of stuff as well. But this, like, I've seen that build. You've seen that build. I've seen Lambo beat like Nurture with that a long time ago. I've seen him build Cyril with that. But Scarlett made it look super easy. And I mean, the fact that she committed to the +1 carapace as well, which that isn't a cheap upgrade to get. And she still had like a 9 drone lead holding it off. She just made it look easy, man.
Scarlett definitely looked very good in that one. Game 2 is going to be played on 2K atmosphere. If you guys joined us later, we are getting towards the end of our broadcast. We had a long day of StarCraft 2. Yesterday was a very special day when it came to the DreamHack Masters Europe. It was only 4 series, but those 4 series, they truly delivered. I think today, though, we saw a lot of fun games too, and we definitely had our fair share of drama. A reverse sweep, multiple players being down 1-2, turning it around into a 3-2 victory. Especially, I think, the PvPs today, Ben. You think of Drogo, Mana, they were wild.
I mean, the Drogo, like that him talking about that hug of doom on a Blackburn, I loved that. Like, yeah, because I think we've all felt it where you do something in game, you're like, oh, this would look so cool, and it works out, and then it absolutely doesn't work out at all, and you potentially almost lose the game because of it. But yeah, I think we've had some really cool series. Anyhow, spawning over in the top right-hand side of 2K Atmospheres, it is Namshar.
And that, of course, means that in the bottom left side, we're looking at the main base of our Zerg that's representing the Shopify Rebellion. It is Scarlett.
Far more standard openings this game to start things off here on 2K Atmospheres. We do see a hatch first attempt by both players, and they're both going to get away with it without any cheeky shenanigans on the other side of things. So that's nice to see, just a different tempo of ZVZ by both of them, or at least by Scarlett this game.
Yeah. I don't really mind the 12 pool openings, though, as long as it's not like the 12 pool all in, because then you know it's going to be a very short game. Just 12 pool into an expand, a little dance between drones and links. I always enjoy it.
I actually really like 12 pool. Dark has made me enjoy the 12 pool a lot more. Did you see his series with Rogue?
Yes, I did.
I love the fact that that was a regame just because of the draw situation, and he went for 12 pool again and won. You know, that's the kind of thing that I I really am starting to enjoy Dark as one of my favorite Zerg players to watch, actually. I just find all his games super entertaining. But this game, we do have the gas timings being super damn similar. Atmosphere is obviously a larger map than Lightshade. Lightshade can be a bit more, depending on how you go about it. It's a very good roach map, but it's good for the concaves, it's good for the wraparounds, lots of very flat area, so defending upper ramp isn't as easy to do. That being said, there isn't a ramp on this map either at the natural, but yeah.
I just really love how he said, you know what, this Dark guy, he's really becoming like one of my favorite Zergs to watch, you know? Like you just picked some random 6K Zerg that is starting to make a splash on the scene. It's like, really, man, the guy that's won the World Championship and I don't know how many code S's at this point, and TSL, and basically almost everything other than Katowice. Yeah, you enjoy watching him? Wow, you're really going for the hipster picks today, aren't you?
To be fair, Drogo was a little bit of a hipster pick, I'll say that. But and it was right as well. But no, for real. Like for a while, Dark used to kind of crap on foreigners a bit, and he used to kind of not show any respect. I feel that changed a lot with the whole Serral coming along. But you're catching me at a tired moment here, Kev. I'm going to be talking a lot of garbage, honestly.
It's okay. I just loved it. It came out so funny. You're like, I'm really starting to turn a little bit into a Dark fan. I'm like, well, man, you're not the only one. He's pretty successful. He's pretty good. Anyway, Namshar has dropped a Baneling Nest, and he's firing up quite a few links. The Scarlett does not have a Baneling Nest herself yet. And if Namshar just keeps making Lings and Banes, this could actually become a very difficult game for Scarlett, because by the looks of it, she wants to avoid the Baneling Nest altogether and go straight into a Roach Warren. Namshar is already morphing two Banelings on the left side of the third base of Scarlett. Scarlett could be in trouble here. There is a spine going down, so I think she knows that she could be in trouble, but this is supposed to be a very difficult hold for the player that doesn't have a Baneling Nest.
Absolutely, and Namshar's doing a little ring around the rosy. Oh, that is not the way that Scarlett wanted this to start off at all. Two Banelings for I don't know how many lings fell in that fight, but definitely wasn't good. She did make an extra queen here, which should be able to help hold on, and she does have a superior drone camper now. Oh my god, is that Hatchery not going to die? Kevin?
Oh my god,
so close.
Yeah, that was like one or two ling hits away from surviving, or if the queens had energy for transfuse, that would have gotten it John too. Scarlett does not lose the game, because Namshar was obviously dropping an Evo chamber and was getting ready for the next phase of this one, but that is definitely a big W for Namshar. One more Baneling gets a decent connection. Scarlett does get a full wraparound around this hatch. Against three Banelings, I don't think you're gonna get it.
Oh, definitely some nice micro here on the side of Scarlett, just sacrificing a few lings, get the Banelings here and there. Namshar's already getting ready for that switch into the Roaches. You can see that with the Evo Chamber upgrade well on the way. No Roach Warren done yet. Oh wow. My goodness. Namshar's holding on really well.
Yeah, this is actually a very solid game so far. Namshar has lost 28 links, Scarlett has lost 28 links, but Scarlett also lost a hatchery. Of course, Namshar did invest in a couple of Banes, and he still has a few safety Banelings. I almost wish that Namshar would sometimes have a little more killer instinct, and now just hold down that Roach button, and maybe rally everything to the other side of the map. And again, if you look at the numbers, you're like, is that supposed to work? Well, he's supposed to have a little more production. It's hard to hold down the Roach button if you don't have a Roach Warren yet. Scarlett is going to drop a Spire, and if Namshar does not pick up on that real soon, despite the fact that it felt like a decent start for Namshar, it's not going to be good enough.
If the situations were reversed, I'd be like, yeah, Scarlett would just, do everything she could to really, really ravage Namshar. Whereas Namshar, I know he's very comfortable just sitting back, even though that first game he wasn't sitting back at all. This...
Nice
going up against Mutas, it's going to be tough. Oh, we just get really good scout by Namshar with his
Yep. I wonder if Namshar feels like he could still do something before this Spire is up and running, or if he's just going to accept it and maybe drop an Infestation Pit, a couple Spore Crawlers, a Hydra Den. There are multiple gases going down. Namshar's actually taking all 6 of his gases. So that means he is going to have a lot of gas to work with. Is there a chance he drops the Spire and goes Corruptus and tries to win with Roach Corruptor?
I feel that's so difficult to do, no? When you're this But again, winning with anything against Scarlett, it is going to be tricky. But I got to say, I'm quite impressed with Namshar this game. He doesn't look outclassed whatsoever, and in fact, he's putting up more than a good fight.
No, not at all indeed. So far, he has played very good. Namshar is going to drop a Hydra then, so we're not going to see Mutas fight Corruptus in this one. And he's just going to try to stabilize then. We saw a ZVZ between Jon Snow and Antis on this map. I was like, oh, it's looking pretty good for the Hydra player. And then the Mutas just straight up won. Now, stabilizing on 4 bases is normally the hard part. When your opponent has Mutas and you do not, you don't have proper NTI yet, it is really hard to get 4 bases up and running. Like, getting 3 bases safe with Spores and Queens, that's very doable. Getting that 4th hatchery, that's normally the real challenge.
Do you think it's just going to stick it like just 6 Muta and then just a ton of Roaches behind this? So, I mean, they're going to get the job done, right? Like, they've already forced out quite a few Spore Crawlers here. 2 so far by Namshar.
Yeah, that's the Reyna special. Reyna likes to brag about that. He's like, yeah, I've got Yona a couple times with it. And that's definitely what it's starting to look like. So you make a couple Mutas, you clear up some Overlords, you force out a bunch of Spore Crawlers. Your opponent is worried about the Muta damage spiraling out of control. And before they realize why is that Muta count not growing, you're maxed out on Roaches and you just pounce on a weak Roach Queen or Roach Hydra army.
Yeah, because I mean, Roaches, you can max out way faster on those. Namshar, if he kind of knows what's happening, he stops on the Hydras right here, right now, and just keeps on making his own Roaches. But it's so hard to call because if you let that Muta number spiral out of control and don't have enough Roaches to keep up, well, Hydras to keep up, you can get in real trouble.
Yeah, so far Namshar is still indeed playing a very solid game. I'm absolutely with you, Ben. Love how he split up the Hydras to the top left, keeping the Mutas at bay. The Mutas are going to turn around, though. They're going to try to keep these Hydras busy. No, Namshar with a little bit of a move command there. Loses a few units that he was perhaps not supposed to lose. Namshar is ahead in the upgrades, but Scarlett is also working on her own +2 missile attacks. And things are starting to look better and better for Scarlett. But these Mutas, they're not really going to accomplish a whole lot anymore. They're going to be annoying, but that's about it. And then Namshar can take the fight with his Hydras in the mix too. That's still some nice DPS.
Certainly is. Like, Hydras definitely do a lot of damage, but Scarlett, she is being very aggro. She does have more Ravagers on this right side in the Biles. They're both doing a good job of dancing in and around them, but it's always nicer being the aggressor. Gives you that chance to fall back. Whereas Namshar, if he loses a fight, it's over.
Yep, but should he lose a fight? I mean, unless we take a very bad engagement or the concave of Scarlett is way better. Wow, that was nice. Dropping a couple of Ravages on that morphing Roach on the right side. Scarlett does split off some of her forces. As he's going to get on top of this hatchery and get a relatively easy pickoff in the end. Fight is still happening on the right side. Namshar retreated a little bit too late there, so he ate a couple of big crossing balls to the face. I do think maybe with the Hydras and some extra reinforcements, maybe Namshar can turn this fight into a decent one. And he is going to push some of the units back of Scarlett. But Scarlett is looking for another cancel on this hatchery, and maybe even a little more than that.
It just feels like Scarlett's made of pure muscle at this point. Like, everything she does, it feels like it's doing something really well. Behind this, she's on 4 bases. She's got a better drone count, even though it's only slight. Got more money, more lava available as well. She's just doing everything great.
Yep, Scarlett is almost always maxed out and then still has some money in the bank too. And Namshar still hanging in there. The Ravager count is 6 against 5. Scarlett still has 5 of her Mutas, just flying around being a little bit annoying. Namshar doesn't actually have that much anti-air here in the center, but it may barely be good enough. 1 Hydra falls, but 2 Mutas fall as well. Honestly, really good showing by Namshar so far. He's holding his own. He's showing us that he's not going to be a pushover. And he's still under a bit of pressure, as it does still feel that Scarlett is dictating the pace of this game and is making all the moves.
Yeah, the scary thing for Namshar is that bank of Scarlett, you know, like, she has been just dancing around the 200 supply mark, and eventually, maybe she's just going to be able to outpower Namshar. She's getting an infestation pit as well, so looking to tech up behind all this.
This is actually really nice. I mean, this is a nice cross the ball there by Namshar, but Scarlett did a really good job in putting a couple of Roaches out of position, while Namshar was focusing on the fight on the right side. Scarlett was getting a little victory on the left, because Namshar wasn't fighting with all his units, but eventually Namshar retreated and did fight with all his units, and that turned it into a slightly better fight. The Sweet is holding pretty strong here. Scarlett with a very awkward movement there. A lot of roaches were actually move commanding. We're not fighting, and that allows this fight to go very well for Namshar. These Hydras are packing a very serious punch, and Namshar is taking the supply lead for the first time in a long time.
Those Hydras are definitely packing a punch, right? And Namshar got on top of the army, kind of hugged it to death, and then the Biles, well, they couldn't miss.
Yeah, Scarlett did have half her army there on move command, and that's why the fight went that good. Because otherwise, I think it would have been a much closer fight. And some units were just rallied towards the place they shouldn't have been rallied to. Namshar might be getting a little bit carried away here with his army at the bottom, but he does have some reinforcements coming in too. Scarlett, her bank is definitely not as impressive as it once upon a time was, but I am very worried for these Hydras now, because how are they supposed to get home?
Ah, you say that, but do they even need to go home? Like, Namshar is actually winning the fight on the far left side now. I mean, that wall of roaches is definitely thinning out, and now the Hydras are fighting toe-to-toe with the roaches, but Namshar is eking out a bit of a supply lead here, Kev.
Yeah, you know, he's been doing really good throughout the last 2 minutes. Obviously got his own fort base up and running again. Scarlett was perhaps getting a little too fancy and flashy for her own good. Because that move command, that really did hurt her. Because he lost that fight on the right side so much more convincingly than he thinks he was supposed to. And that means we have a game. And as long as these Hydras stay alive, it's not bad to have some Hydras in the mix. Hydras have more DPS than roaches. Scarlett is going to try to max out one more time, but I think Scarlett's going to be forced to give up this base, because I like Namshar's army just a bit better.
I definitely like his army quite a bit better. I mean, those Hydras in the back line, it's well positioned as well. Scarlett is definitely marching forward, but it just feels like there's so much red Zerg here. The upgrade's still not kicked in yet for Scarlett. She's literally seconds away from the armor, but Namshar, he's going to tie up the series here, Kev.
Wow.
And GG, Namshar gets a map on the board. That's something that none of us expected.
Well, very well done. And it wasn't an easy victory either, right? Like, sure, Namshar technically got ahead early on, but eventually it felt that the game was starting to slip away from him, because Scarlett was finding damage with her mutas, and the multitasking was really starting to shine. There was that one little mistake of the move command, because it really felt like there were quite some units there just running headfirst into the army of Namshar. And that's where it started going down south real quick.
Absolutely, absolutely. I'm impressed by Namshar, because a game like that being the one that you win, where, yeah, he got a lead early on, he played well with it. Scarlett definitely bounced back. Like, I'm looking at this army graph, Scarlett was actually ahead, and we felt that Scarlett was kind of dictating the pace. She killed his fourth base as well. But not only did he hang on, he totally turned that around. And yeah, you're right. A few of these engagements where I thought Scarlett was absolutely doing a damn good job, Namshar, he just withstood the storm and eventually counterattack and won. And he did it really well, actually. It was very nice to see Namshar play so well.
What I thought was perhaps most impressive was how well Namshar kept his Hydras alive, right? Because normally, especially if there are two fights happening at the same time, there's always this one moment where you just don't have enough roaches on one side, and that exposes the Hydras, and then the roaches of Scarlet can get on top of the Hydras of Namshar, and then Hydras are not that good anymore because they are a bit flimsy. Blast cannon is maybe a bit too much, but yeah, they do die quicker if they're not protected. But Namshar did a really good job in making damn sure he always had a buffer, and did a good job in avoiding those crosser balls too.
It's one of these games where I'm like, even though I like what the mutas did, those 6 mutas flying around, and maybe this is because Namshar defended so well, it didn't really feel like the impact was all that great. Like, yeah, he forced out some Hydras, but the Hydras came in quite handy at the end of it, and just dealing a little bit of extra damage. So even though I totally understand the whys and how it can work out, just feel like this game, it didn't really pay off.
Maybe Scarlet started attacking a bit too early, because I feel like whenever Rainer goes for that strat, it's always like couple mutas, and then we max out. But Scarlet basically went with her first 12 or 14 roaches, and that gave Namshar the heads up. Like, hey, you really have to worry a lot more about what's happening on the ground than you have to worry about these things in the sky. Anyways, that was game 2. It means we're all tied up, and we have hopped into game 3 here on Oxide, in the top right side. We're looking at the main base of our Canadian Zerg. It is Scarlett.
And spawning over in the bottom left-hand side as our red Zerg, it is Namshar. very cool to see that this is already a competitive ZVZ where it isn't one person just being way better than the other. Namshar absolutely putting up a fight, and yeah, I almost feel a bit bad that all three of us expected Scarlett to win 3-0, but that just goes to show how much faith we had in her and how well she has been playing recently. And Namshar, all things said and done, he was absolutely keeping up.
Yep, I think he played really well. There was a cool moment where I did feel that Scarlett, her multitasking was shining a bit whilst he was trading evenly on the right. And she did a really good job in just like pulling a couple of roaches of Namshar away on the left side. So instead of fighting 12 units, he only fought 4 or 5. But then Namshar was quite quick to correct that too. Lost 2 units, but then joined the remaining forces up with the other units that were falling behind. And he just held his own. We were basically watching a Archon match, co-op Archon, call it however you want it. And Namshar was able to hold his own there. Definitely did not get outplayed by Scarlett. And then eventually even found his window to keep going. And then I did love that he was decisive. When he started winning fights, he didn't slow down, where it wasn't like, all right, let's try to stabilize on 4 bases. No, he's like, I'm winning these fights. This is going well. Let's keep going. Why stop here? And it paid off.
Absolutely. Oxide, bit of a different beast, I feel. I mean, 2K Atmospheres has definitely been a well-accepted map by almost everyone, actually. I can't think of a race that dislikes it. Oxide, this is going to be a fun one. It is both players opting for the more defensive third as they're going for the forward one, like they both did on 2K Atmospheres, and both of them just doing the exact same thing by the looks of it.
Mm-hmm. Baning Nest will go down for Scarlett this game. Let's not forget that previous game, we got to be fair in that regard as well. It is never a good feeling to lose your third hatchery when you're trying to skip out on the Baning Nest. So Scarlett was definitely playing from a little bit of an early deficit, but then I do think she did a very good job in turning that around. At one point, definitely felt she was winning. I think we all felt she was winning. She had more supply. She was out in the maps. He was getting some good trades at first, but just wasn't able to break Namshar.
No, definitely not. Yeah, I'm just looking at this game now, and I'm like, okay, Namshar's eking out a lot of Zerglings again, Kev, and while this build maybe not too different, it's Scarlett going for the quicker Evo chamber here, but getting a good scout off with all her Zerglings. It's definitely looking like it's going to spice up a little bit here.
Mm-hmm. Evo chambers going down on both sides, where the Baneling's morphing. All right, just defensively for Scarlett on her side of the map. Namshar needs to be careful. I gotta say, last game, one thing we could criticize Scarlett for a little bit. I thought she was a bit reckless with her links early on. There were a couple of decent Baneling connections, right?
That is true. Like the defensive, like even the first 2 Banelings that Namshar morphed on the left side, like she had quite a bit of time to react to them, but yeah, they just blew up absolutely everything.
Mm-hmm. Scarlett is 4 workers ahead. Namshar is starting up his lair. Scarlett has not decided to tech up yet, but she is taking a couple of additional extractors in her natural, +1 missile attacks on the way. Other than that, it seems like Scarlett is just scouting, making sure that everything is there, what she expects. I do hope that Scarlett realizes she doesn't have a Roach Warren yet. I can only assume she does know, but I'd like to see it go down in the near future.
Yeah, just to make sure that there isn't any mistake, you know. She is going up to 5 gases here. 6 gases make that. Obviously getting the range upgrade as well. It looks like it's going to be like a 66 drone game from both of them. Namshar is getting up the Roach Warren quite a bit earlier.
Yeah, I'm actually starting to get worried, man. Like, if Namshar just keeps building roaches here and fires up roach speed immediately, how the hell is Scarlett going to deal with that? Scarlett still does not have a Roach Warren, and +1 missile attacks is halfway done.
Yes.
That can't be on purpose. This cannot be on purpose.
You say that? Okay, Roach Warren does pop down now, but it would be nice to have it timed out with... I can't see a world where you don't want it timed out with the lair finishing and then you start up your roach speed, right? Especially with this massive surplus of gas. So I think you're absolutely right. And Scarlett is making quite a few extra lings here. That's probably just for extra scouting information, just to make sure that Namshar isn't getting away with something that she doesn't want him to be.
Yeah, Namshar has already built quite a few roaches, and he may just keep doing this. He's going to fire up a couple of queens and now goes for a couple of drones too. So it might just be kind of a fake. It's like, oh, here I'm coming with my roaches. Scarlett immediately builds 8 roaches herself. Obviously, the lovely thing of maybe a building being a bit later than you planned on having it is that you can just bank up larva. This could still be a little bit annoying because Namshar's gonna have roach speed. Scarlett's not. I mean, Namshar's gonna be really surprised that he's just walking in here and he's like, wait, no units? Okay, there are the units, so they do pop. But Scarlett is not gonna have roach speed for a very long time, and it's kind of annoying to micro slow roaches against fast roaches.
You know what's also funny, Kev? She won't have roach speed almost ever if this is anything to go by. She's not even started upgrading it.
Well, she does have her Spire on the way. It's 70% done. I bet Namshar is so sad that he didn't keep building roaches. Because imagine if he would have never stopped.
I think he'd have won the game right there and then, you know. All things said and done, though, Scarlett just started up the roach speed. They both got +2 ranged attacks on the way. Whoa. Scarlett starts up plus melee here.
Yeah, because his fire is finishing up, so I guess he wants to play Muras and then maybe go into Banelings with speed down the line.
Yeah, what a funny way of going about things. Don't get me wrong, I like it, and I do understand. Like, if you are spending all your gas on mutas, that usually implies it's going to be way heavier emphasis on mutas, right?
Yep. Even though I feel that Namshar could have been very far ahead. I don't really like the game for him at this point, because Scarlett is on 4 bases. He's got 11 mutas on the way, and Namshar has absolutely 0 NTR. I mean, sure, Karasa Balls if we are a dreamer. I don't know if you're a dreamer, Ben, but I'm not that much of a dreamer.
I am a dreamer, Kev, and I'm not the only one, you know. Quote the legendary Beatles. Anyhow, this is all those Ravagers going down, which is not what... That's not what you want. Those are your pricey units. And I know a lot of people can look at Ravagers and be like, oh, they're pretty cheap. No, they're like 100 each one. And Namshar throws down a few spores, throws down his extra queens, gets the Hydralisk desk going. And yeah, this definitely paid off for Scarlett.
Yep, Spore Crawler not totally done yet, so the Mutas could find a couple drones here. 2, 3 going down. Scarlett wants one more and gets one more. Yeah, that was a bit annoying. And this game is not just going to be the 6 Mutas. It almost feels that Scarlett was a bit maybe annoyed that Namshar wasn't as safe against Mutas as he should have been perhaps in that previous game. Even though there were a couple Spore Crawlers, there were a couple Hydras. Scarlett's like, alright, I'll show you what happens if I just keep building Mutas. Well, we're about to find out.
Ravagers, they're exposed, Kev. The Ravagers are super exposed here, and that's one. Oh my goodness. I thought it was going to be 3 surviving with 1 health there. I was going to be like, wow, those are the luckiest Ravagers of all time.
That's the infestation pit. I'm actually surprised that Scarlett doesn't want to stick around and kill it. Instead, he's going to go for the Overlord farm. Oh, this feels like a PvZ now. Those could have been Phoenixes. Scarlett and her Midas are just roaming the map. She's now going to get on top of all these roaches. The queens are terribly out of position. And I have a hard time believing that Namshar is going to stabilize in a good spot. 10 additional Mutalisk on the way.
Oh, struggling to deal with the, how many is it? 18 that are already on the map, soon to be 28. Super supply blocked is Namshar. Not because he's bad, it's just so many Overlords are falling left, right, and center.
Scarlett has already killed 5 Overlords. This Muta count is growing to ridiculous portions, man. I actually think the Mutas could fight the Queens there. I know there's quite a bit of transfuse energy. The Infestation Pit gets picked off. Namshar was able to fire up a couple of Infestors before it went down, but the Muta count is so damn high already. We're looking at 27 Mutas against 1 Spore. No way, Jose. I mean, that means the Roaches are in trouble, the Drones are in trouble, the Hatchery is in trouble, and Scarlett is showing us what happens if she just keeps building Mutalisk.
Yeah, I'm actually thinking, why did I do this the other game too? Because Namshar, this game, he did not respect the Mutas. Oh, when I say that, this game...
He saw it too late.
Too late. And he lost all the Ravagers on the other side of the map and stuff, and this... I mean, that is a scary arm from Scarlett. The Banelings as well, they come crashing in. The Spore Crawler dies instantly. The Queens as well, trying to stand strong, but it's just too much Scarlett at this point.
There is no NTR. We might see a cool fungal soon. Unfortunately, that ain't going to happen either, as the Infestors die before they can get enough energy to cast one of the fungals. Namshar is just going to send all of his roaches to the other side of the map because he needs to do something. He wants to buy some time to get enough NTR at home. But I don't know if we can ever get enough NTR against this outrageous amount of Mutalisk. There are still 23 on the map, 5 more in production. And just like that, Scarlett takes the 2-1 lead. But I would, right now, Ben, if we weren't in the middle of a show, I would love to resume this game from replay, where Namshar fires up those 9-10 roaches of 61 drones. And what happens if he just keeps building roaches and rallies everything to the other side of the map? I think he could have won it.
I think so. I think so. I do think Namshar missed an opportunity there, Kev, as you said, because Scarlett, the lair or the roach warren was really late. Namshar kind of wandered into that third, and it's like, oh,
anybody home?
Yeah, this is way less resistance than I thought I was going to get. This is as comfortable as my base over here. But yeah, definitely a cool game, to say the least. Anyhow, guys, we're going to get to a short break, and we'll find out who is the victor of this last match of the day. Stay tuned.
좋은 추억이 많은 걸 우리 함께한 노래 그 약속까지 난 잊지 못해 소중히 간직할게 널 잊으려고 해도 내 맘이 또 흔들려 지워보려 해도 내 심장은 흔들리는데 왜 자꾸 흔들리는데 참 바보 같은지 내 주위의 사람들 하나같이 말려도 머리에 생각도 아니라고 말을 하는데 왜 자꾸 흔들리는지 참 바보 같은지 나도 왜 이러는지 그리움에 빠진 채 이런 내 모습은 또 처음이야 나도 모르겠어 또 사랑을 하는 게 처음으로 느껴본 거야 이런 적 없었다고 널 잊으려고 해도 내 맘이 또 흔들려 지워보려 해도 내 심장은 흔들리는데 왜 자꾸 흔들리는데 참 바보 같은지 내 주위의 사람들 하나같이 말려도 머리에 생각도 아니라고 말을 하는데 왜 자꾸 흔들리는지 참 바보 같은지
Welcome back to the DreamHack StarCraft 2 Masters NA playoffs for the last time today, as there will be no more breaks. I know you guys have been patiently waiting for that moment, and we're getting ready for Game 4 between Scarlett and Namshar. Been chugging a lot of water today, Ben. Yeah.
You know, I'm inspired by Namshar. Every time I see this lad, it's just massive bottle guzzling away. But also, you know, Scarlett was just like, 1 second, just brushing my teeth, you know, and I'm like, what? In the middle of the day? But yeah, what can I say, Kev? What can I say? Just maybe want to chug a little bit of water myself.
She said she's brushing her teeth?
Yeah.
Okay. That's not something you normally do when you get ready for game 4, I guess, in a ZVZ. But
I was just thinking, like, whenever I'm 2-1 up in a 5-game set, or 5 games, a best of 5, it's like, yeah, that's the time to brush my teeth, you know? Keep my opponent waiting and using my time wisely. Ooh.
That's pretty funny. I've actually never heard that before in the middle of a series, but hey. We experience something new each and every single day when we watch StarCraft 2. I think once more today has been a fun day. I feel like we had a lot of fun series. Couple of little upsets, but just very fun games and games playing out in ways that we didn't necessarily predict. We are now getting ready to hop into Jagannatha. I think we're going to see more upgraded Zerglings here.
You think so?
Yeah, I've got an upgraded Link feeling.
I don't want to bet, man. I don't want to bet. I think we might see some quick upgrades from Scarlett again, but Jagannatha? I feel that this is... So, Romanticide is one of my favorite maps for those long games that can be a bit, a bit unusual and stuff, but on Jagannatha, I never know what to expect. This is actually my 1v2 on ladder, Kev.
Really? Why?
My FPS is too low to play well on Jagannatha.
Well, I guess it's not the best Terran map either, right? Especially TVZ.
No, and like... So I ordered a new PC so long ago, right? Like November last year. Still hasn't like arrived or anything. Which I'm finally getting it ready now. Like they've told me I can actually get the PC without the graphics card and stuff. So I'll finally be able to play on Jagannatha, which I'm pretty stoked about because I see it and it is quite a beautiful map. But I never get to play it myself, which I feel like I'm missing out, Kev.
Well, by the time you can finally play on it, it might be removed from the map pool. I kind of thought it would be gone already by now, to be totally honest, but that did not happen.
Yeah, I mean, I thought a few were going, Kev, but, you know, that new season popped up and felt very similar to the previous.
Because it is. Getting ready for game 4. Players are finally ready. We're ready. Production is ready. Let's go ahead and hop on into it. And let's see if this young lady can close it out, or if we're getting ready for a decider match. In the bottom left side, we're looking at the main base of our first 12 pool of the series. Our Canadian Zerg representing the Shopify Rebellion. It is Scarlett.
I like it. And spawning over in the top right-hand side as our red Zerg is Namshar. It was definitely new for me when I found out that this map actually isn't somehow way longer than all the other maps, despite it looking very unusual on the minimap with those black bars down the side. That just made me think automatically. It was like, this is way longer, man. Like, no way will 12 pool work on this map. But then, you know, everybody came out with their timings, and it was like, actually, this map is just as good, if not better, than some of those other maps that you might be doing 12 pool on already.
Well, that is because of the acceleration zones, though.
Yes.
Yeah, because it is longer. It's just that when there are speed zones, yeah, it becomes a bit shorter again. But if you would avoid those acceleration zones, then it does become longer.
Do they... Okay, I'm looking forward to see the journey of these lings, because do they spend a lot of time in these speed zones, Kev?
Absolutely.
Have a look. Okay. Ken, Kev, I don't get to play this map much, you know? Don't get to see it much, but vroom, right through the speed zone is the... It's been a long day.
Oh, could have gone through that speed zone too. Scarlett has got a little boost there, but the other two links do get the boost. And they are going to make their way to the other side of the map. Let's see how good Namshar's defense is going to be. Obviously, we're going to pull some drones. The question is how many, and the question is when.
Pulling them at a decent time. Like, this hatchery isn't going to get too low. So what does Scarlett go for? Oh, instantly gets a drone here. Already a nice start by Scarlett, I feel, but... Oh, this is kind of like bluffing.
Oh,
is Scarlett oh, my goodness.
Yep, that's already a bit painful, I think, for Namshar losing 3 drones. It could be worse, but I feel like it's not over yet. Scarlett still has more Zerglings here, so Namshar's going to be forced to fight a little bit longer. Scarlett definitely getting a good trade. Additional Zerglings show up for Scarlett. Good defense there in the end by Namshar. Could have been worse. It also could have been better, but it's not all that bad.
No, all things said and done, let's have a look at the numbers here. Scarlett's got 2 queens on the way when she already has 1 out, so maybe a bit better there. The one thing Namshar has on his side, though, is Zergling speed did start a lot earlier, and his drone count for now, although Scarlett is going to catch up, is a little bit ahead. Honestly, not bad, all things considered.
Namshar, his queens are going for a serious journey to snipe an overlord. They are going to get it.
Oh, I think maybe Vision will go pretty soon if Scarlett realizes. No. Popped out of the sky.
Does obviously mean that Namshar misses an inject here and there, but getting an overlord kill this early on is quite nice. Namshar's going to go up to 3 bases. Scarlett is still not researching Zergling speed. Has 72 gas at this point. I feel like a lot of the Korean Zergs. Scarlett is actually going to try to get an overlord kill herself, and we'll get it.
What are you about to say about the Koreans?
I feel like if this was a Dark game, Dark would have never built an extra drone. He would just hold down the Zergling button. He's like, I've got link speed, you don't. Million links running to the other side of the map. Close your eyes and pray.
Yeah, I think you might be absolutely right. Some of the little Zergling micro that Scarlett's getting away with this game is really cool. Like, those drone surrounds really awesome. And this game, Namshar is piling on those links, Kev, realizing that he has speed against a player that doesn't have speed. I like the choice by him. Scarlett on the other side of things is starting to set up a bit of a wall of her own and going for carapace upgrades.
Yep.
I like where this game is going.
Scarlett is not going for link speed at all. She has still not researched it. There is double evo, so Scarlett could also start +1 missiles. She has enough gas for it, but at first we're going to have to deal with these links. Then the big question is, will Namshar make even more units behind this, or are we just going to tack up? It seems like the answer is we are going to tack up as our Swedish Zerg starts to lair.
Huh. Okay, so Scarlett is actually going for a late Ling speed here. Wait, Kevin, where's that hatchery going up? She's making a hatchery in her main? This is interesting off 2 bases.
Hey, I did say I was feeling upgraded links.
You did, and this is a +1/+1 Lings as well. This is super cool by Scarlett. And with that macro hatch in the main, she's going to be able to make a lot of Zerglings.
She had me fooled for a second. I'm like, okay, I guess we are just not going to get link speed. But then we're starting to get all the link upgrades, and we're still going to get link speed just a bit later. This is a creative build. Dr. Dario would approve of this. I think Rainer and Sarah would not necessarily approve of this, but it's okay. We'll see what Scarlett can do with it. I do feel that Scarlett is going to be capable of getting some really good fights. He was already pocketing a lot of links, and it's very important for Namshar that he starts getting some units out real soon. Imagine if Namshar starts one more spell of drones. Oh my god. Well, he fires up 3. Bailing Nest is about to finish up. That is very important for Namshar.
It certainly is, but Scarlett, do you think this is kind of going to... So obviously there's going to be a lot of links with this, with the +1/+1, but firing up 8 Roaches with this, is that going to be maybe to morph a few of them into Ravagers and maybe go for a big round, you know?
Namshar had a couple of Banelings morphing there, and he cancelled them right before all these links shown up. Oh my goodness, that would have been so different. If Namshar had those 3 Banes that he started near this hatchery, this would have all been so different. I forgot what your question was, Ben, but that is a big moment, because that is going to allow these feisty links of Scarlett to just get this hatchery and tie up the base count. Now, economically, it's still not great for Scarlett, but she is going to have very strong battle units.
Yeah, I'm looking at that income tab right now, and it's kind of close, considering that, you know, even though there is a big red swing for Namshar, given that he's on 56 drones versus 39, should be way bigger. Namshar, despite taking so much damage, he's like, you know what? I'm going to take 3rd and 4th simultaneously. In fact, he did cancel that one, seeing that big army across the map, and I think that's the right move.
This is actually kind of cool. I mean, obviously Scarlett, her Roaches won't have speed, but who cares about the Roach speed if you're going for Ravagers anyway? Some of her Ravagers are a little bit exposed. Namshar grabs one of them. The Baneling count is finally, I feel like, there where it's supposed to be. Namshar gets a double cancel also on the base in the top left.
Oh, that Overseer. Definitely getting hit by Biles definitely sucks, but oh, her own Bile hit her Lings there, but this is a big, big wraparound. She has to be so careful. These Lings can survive an extra hit from the Banelings, but what are you going to do with 1 health?
No, 1 health. Zerglings deal the same amount of damage as Lings with 35 health. So that Roach one is actually starting to take a serious beating. The Lynx are going to swing into the main base. There is no Baneling left behind. Scarlett is going to run a lot of Lynx into the Banelings in the front. But he still has plenty of Lynx behind as he's picking up the Roach Warren too. And even though Namshar is still up in Workers and technically up in Roaches, it's starting to feel really, really bad. Being stuck on 2 bases. Scarlett is going up to 3. Let's not forget that Scarlett also has a macro hatchery. Scarlett is styling a little bit here on Jagannatha.
She is. Namshar definitely has a bank, which can't yet use, Kevs. Can't yet use. And has he restarted his Roach Warren?
Nope.
He hasn't yet. Do you think he's realized? Do you think...
I mean, yeah.
Well, now he's realized. I mean, it's pretty late.
It's a bit painful. Obviously, that money is going to spike up, but there's nothing else he can really do. Namshar could always decide to fire up a couple Lynx for a few more Banelings, and considering the fact that Scarlett still has 57 1-1 Lynx out on the map, I don't think having a few Banelings is the worst thing in the world. But Namshar is just going to try to turn this still into a macro game, but it's honestly looking very bad. Scarlett could even go up to 4 bases now if she wants to.
She could. She's getting her own Roach speed, which I think is a smart choice, going for the Roach upgrades as well with the range attack. Namshar can finally make his own Roaches again, but Scarlett uses this time pretty wisely, and these Lings are in the natural.
This could very well be it. These Lings are going to get us around. A lot of extra Lings have indeed ran into the natural. A couple of them could go into the main base. Scarlett just has a lot of units, and even though Namshar has a lot of units too, he has a hard time figuring out where these units should be, which fight he should take. Scarlett gets another kill on the hatchery. Yeah. Scarlett is having a lot of fun this game, man. That's the best way to put it.
I think this was a really cool game, and you might be wondering why she was fighting here. Well, her Roach speed literally only just finished, and this is getting a bit closer than I thought it was going to get in this fight here, but nice focus fire on these Ravagers by Scarlett. Feels like Namshar's just running out of steam at this point. Too many things just went wrong for him this game.
Yeah, still quite a bit of money in the bank. Namshar just can't really spend it as he's only on 2 hatcheries, and even the queens have been busy fighting. I think Namshar is just going to send everything he has to the other side of the map, the kitchen sink. Let's try to make magic happen with the few Roaches that have survived the madness. He's actually going to try to get a hatchery up one more time, but Scarlett is already there with Lynx to cancel it. So this fight now for Namshar is starting to turn into a do or die scenario. And I feel like it has die written all over it.
I couldn't agree with you more, Kev. I think Namshar put up a real good fight this series. A real good fight, actually. Way better than all of us thought he was going to do. But Scarlett, just bigger, meaner, stronger in this final game.
This is something that happened like once or twice on that 2K game as well, that Namshar was able to win. But Scarlett is creating so much chaos. He's distracting Namshar left, right, and center, forcing him to pay attention to so many little things. And then obviously mistakes will happen. Namshar leaving a couple of Roaches behind. Scarlett there immediately to jump on it. Scarlett has 26 drones on her 3rd base because the main has been mined out for a little while, and even the natural is running dry. Scarlett seems like she wants to get a Spire. I feel like it's a very unnecessary Spire. But
I mean, if she gets a Spire, it'd be the most unnecessary Spire of all time when you put it like that. Namshar, he's trying to take his 3rd base here. Scarlett, she's going for a Spire, Kev.
yeah, I know. I told you. Like he wants to go for a spy. That was a drone that was just meant to become a spire drone. Very unnecessary. I think if this was the NFL, 10-yard penalty, unnecessary roughness, automatic.
Unnecessary. Yeah. This reminds me of like when I see Gabe sometimes against Blind, he makes 10 Ghost Academies.
Yeah.
It's just unnecessary. Like,
oh yeah, if he doesn't want to leave the game, we'll make him leave. And he drops 7 nukes, and he's like, oh, that was a good one.
It actually was a good one though. But yeah, Namshar, he's battling. He's got a way smaller army. He's doing a damn good job of making it tough for Scarlett, but I do feel that unnecessary Spire, if Namshar holds on here, it's just going to be the next level of, oh, you're a bit more ahead than I thought, actually. Bugger.
Well, I think Namshar knows, but he's just trying to make the absolute best of it. These are the DreamHack Masters playoffs. You don't want to leave too early. If you feel like there is a chance, you want to go for it. Obviously, Namshar did a really good job in weathering the storm on 2K, but this is not a storm. This is a Type F tornado, and all the houses are made out of wood.
I've never heard that before. Type F tornado, but yeah, I mean Scarlett.
Neither have I, Ben. I made something up. Okay, let me have it.
It sounded damn good though. I'm gonna. Yeah, I liked it, Kev. I liked it. But units, they're coming out now. There's only 4 at the moment, 2 more in the making.
I don't know how they scale tornadoes. Okay, like I don't know. I'm sure there is a category, and this is the extreme one. Okay, it's a hurricane, a tornado, it's everything at once, and it's going to hit real hard.
Did you also watch that movie Twister when you were young?
I don't know. I don't think I did.
It was freaking amazing, dude. Anyhow, Namshar is actually pushing out, but oh my goodness, those bios landed pretty juicily, and those mutas, they put Namshar on a bit of a clock, and Namshar, he's going for it, man. He really is, and he's actually taking a way better fight than I ever thought he would. These supplies are getting way closer than I thought they ever would, but...
Yeah, there are a couple of feisty links in the main base, though, that are going to kill most of the remaining drones of Namshar, and even if he wins the fight on the ground, the unnecessary Spider is coming in real clutch, because Roaches and Ravages have a hard time winning a fight against Midas. It's just a couple of links that have killed 14 drones, and Namshar just had enough of it. Namshar played well, it's just that Scarlett is incredibly good, and when it comes